The Dead Weather. The Dead Weather, an American rock blues band comprising of Jack White, Alison Mosshart, Dean Fertitta. His name is fucking hilarious. And Jack Lawrence. And today we're talking about the latest album, Dodge and Burn. What do you think of this album?
Awful. No, I'm kidding.
Really?
No.
I didn't even like it that much. I didn't. I am
kidding. I am kidding.
You're kidding?
I'm kidding.
The album got a lot shit though after the first half of the album.
Okay.
Actually, no. No. I liked at least a couple of songs.
Gains his thoughts and James tells us what he thinks of the album.
Okay.
No.
I thought the album was unfortunate in what I expected. Because it had too many similarities with their first album and their second album, to the extent where I could pinpoint which songs could have easily been taken off of their first album or second.
Let alone similarities in the fucking album. It sounded exactly the same throughout the whole fucking album, apart from like a couple of really good moments.
Right.
3
Let's
really good
start
moments,
off, I Feel Love, Every Million Miles.
Okay, my words precisely could have been taken right off of the Lazaretto album by Jack White.
Okay.
With a female vocalist, of course.
Okay. Gareth?
I really liked it, but I felt like after it went to the halftime bit and the second bit, it sort of dragged a bit and didn't do much. But the first half I really liked.
Can I say something positive about this album? Okay. The drums sound fantastic on this album. The guitar tones are insane on this album.
Yes.
And I fucking love the kind of rapturous distortion on the guitar.
It sounds
that seems to follow Jack White wherever he is, no matter if he's playing the drums or the guitar.
Well, he does all the production work.
He does. He mixed it. And now
well
I'm
mixed.
about...
Oh, you're gonna... Oh.
I think Alison Mosshart, the way her vocals are mixed, is fucking terrible. It could be like done like artistically, like on purpose, but it sounds like they've taken a big fucking scoop out of the high mids on her voice, and it just irks me.
I didn't get that.
No?
At no point when I was listening to it did I feel as though the vocals were mixed poorly.
Mr. fucking iTunes earbud fucking Apple.
Whoa now.
So just put it out there.
I'm not plugging, but I'm gonna plug the AKG K702 reference headphones.
Oh shit. Are they AKG?
They
are AKG.
Yes, they are.
You also,
if we had like KKs.
He's also in another video that's going to be on this channel wearing those headphones.
He is actually.
Oh yeah. Why did you? Never mind. Right. So I felt as though
You felt love every once in a while. You felt love every million miles.
I felt as though this was a great opener. For the same reason as the other two albums.
I think it opened well, but then I think I dragged.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. But I felt as though it had the power that they wanted to show, and it really got across every element that they wanted. Good drums, powerful vocals, really distorted
Guitars?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah! Carry on, sir.
The only problem is that I didn't really get the bass across. I felt as though if you're going to showcase all of the positives of the band, you got to give little Jack Lawrence the credit he deserves, because I couldn't really pick out a distinctive bass in that song.
Okay, going back to the vocals, I didn't particularly like them. I didn't think the lyrics were amazing. I didn't like the way it sounded. It felt a bit like a teenage band, kind of like overly excited. I just didn't.
I have never, to be fair, I've never been a massive fan of Alison Mosshart's vocals. I've always thought they were a little dull, but I sort of like.
I've never been a fan of the lyrics. The vocals,
You like?
I like. I feel as though it works for what it is.
It's one of those things. It's definitely their style, and it's one of those things that like I didn't think of bringing up too specific on this album because it's just always been a thing where I just haven't thought her singing was that interesting.
I feel like the whole album
whatever.
could have been made a lot better if, like, because the instrumentation was fantastic. It sounded great. It sounded a little samey at some points, but it was all like on point. It sounded great. I think if they just had like a really good vocalist with some fucking really good lyrics, maybe like doing a bit more production. I know Jack White likes to keep things really plain and simple, recorded like straight recordings, all through microphones, not much like synth work. Even when you're listening to something, you're like, oh, that's a nice synth. No, it's just a million fucking pedals attached to a guitar.
It is. But that's their style, you know.
I know, and you can appreciate it for that as well. But there's a lot of Jack White projects, and this isn't one of the ones that I'm digging too much.
What did really disappoint me was that the second song was just average. I felt as though it didn't just suddenly dip down into kind of being acceptable, and I felt as though it started quite high. Not really high, but quite high. It got you into the album. It had the riff, it had the vocals that really like grabbed your attention. But then you go into Buzzkill, and nothing grabbed my attention. I really liked the kind of tremolo guitar.
Yes.
That was cool. I really like that. And then we just go into Let Me Through, which I thought was really, really dull. I thought that the last third of the song kind of picked up a little bit, but nothing really grabbed my attention.
Alright, I'm going to say it. Best song on the album, $3 Hat. Awesome song, amazing song. Just going to say it might have something to do with the fact that Jack White's singing on it.
I don't necessarily think that's fair, because there was another song he was singing on as well, which I didn't find as extra interesting. I think it was the fact that the bit he was singing over was so much more interesting and different than a lot of the rest of this album. It was so, like, I did not expect that coming. Because by the time I'd got to $3 Hat, I'd started to think, like, these songs are a bit samey, it's not really interesting me. A lot of it seems like it's dragging, I'm not really getting into it. And then that just hit me and I was just like, what is this? This is awesome. It's fucking,
and like,
so different.
His lyrics also are a million times better. They're so theatrical.
I think it was one of the few songs on the album that did have really good lyrics.
Yeah, and then, is it just me, but in the middle of fucking $3 Hat, the song goes like
Crazy.
Completely different.
It does.
And then she starts singing Alison Mosshart.
Yep.
And you think, like, is this only happening so she had something to do if they did this live? So she wasn't feeling left out?
I don't know. But
Does she play an instrument?
I think that sometimes she plays guitar.
Okay.
Or keyboard, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it sounds like this amazing, stylish,
But
fucking
usually
classic Jack White.
She's just a...
And
front
also,
woman.
it's a fucking hip-hop song. It's a fucking hip-hop song. And it randomly turns into what sounds like a Queens of Stone Age track from fucking Songs of the Deaf.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
$3 Hat.
We're still talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah. The hip-hop?
Listen to that song again, listen to the beat, and listen to fucking Jack White sing on it. He's basically rapping.
I wouldn't have thought that, but I can kind of see what you're saying.
It is hip-hop.
Going back to what I said right at the start, there are songs on this album which I can easily point and say that belongs on their first album, or that belongs on their second album. $3 Hat, first album, sounds... If you put that album on, you listen through that, you'll find a lot of similarities, both in the instrumentation and just that style, really. The marching snare that he uses, really...
So nice.
I love it. It stands out so much.
And when you hear it,
adds a lot.
you hear it.
Yeah.
What's that song where he plays it and he got like a delay on it and it sounds so fucking sick right at the beginning?
That's not until later on.
Is that Rough Detective?
Oh mate, hang on.
I think it might be Rough Detective.
I'm not sure.
I
thought it was Lose the Right. Right at the intro. There's like a kick and then a snare. Yeah.
Okay. But okay.
He might have used it in both.
Speaking of the song Rough Detective, that's a song where they sing together.
Yes.
Like, he does a line, they do like a call and repeat thing, like...
Yeah.
And it sounds great. Their voices really complement each other. Why can't they be doing more of that on the album?
Because it's a song which should have been on the second album. That's why they don't do it more. Because they're trying to explore new ideas for this album, but Rough Detective, second album. Going back to Lose the Right, second album. Going on to Open Up, their seventh song, first album. And it was... I actually thought that Open Up was like it was it succeeded in getting all of the best parts about the first album into one song, and I really like that. Also, it was kind of, I think it was one of their singles. It might have been the single, the very, like, way before the album was released. Yeah, it really encompassed that. And then we just moved, like, but saying all this, I didn't think that many of those songs were that good. They stood out as something that was the Dead Weather, but they didn't stand out as, this is really good for the Dead Weather.
Yeah.
It's like we said about the tracks from Foals and albums like that, where it's like you hear it and you sort of go, and I think we said it about some Fiddler ones as well, where you're like, I hear it and I go, yeah, this is Dead Weather. That's sort of as far as it goes, though. You're like,
Be Still, the next song, absolutely nothing that I could really point out about that song. I thought it was painfully average. In fact, I wrote down here that it's a 5. I might give that a 4 because, like, I cannot for the life of me remember that song right now, and I only listened to it a couple of hours ago. Then we go into Mile Markers, and the snare on that, again with the marching snare, really stood out. That was a positive. And just once again, it's kind of like you're introducing these very similar factors throughout the entire album, but you're not getting anything new. And this is where Cop and Go comes in for me, because I felt as though that was the only song on this album. Actually, we'll get to that later, but it's the only song so far for me, except perhaps the first song, that was
Oh god, this guy.
There was a Dodge and Burn song.
Yeah.
Right? I really thought as though that was like, I can dig this as a song that would be on the new album. They're exploring new things and it's not so similar to the older stuff. And I
to be honest, I'm coming at this from like a fresh perspective. I haven't really listened to their other stuff. I would say that this album was fucking hard work to listen to the whole lot of it. I had to do it in 2 parts because you were just getting fucking like...
It did get very samey.
Yeah.
Grinding on the ears, just like, same fucking riffs. Not the same riffs, but, you know, same, like, that same tone and style throughout the whole thing. Like, really consistent.
That was the problem.
Maybe not in a good way.
It felt as though, throughout the entire album, they'd been doing what they'd always done.
Yeah.
They'd been writing new songs, but they're not so different, and you can just kind of... You can be listening to it and then be like, oh shit, I've gone through, like, 3 songs.
Yeah.
What were those songs? I can't remember them. You'll put them on and you'll be like, I don't even remember this song, and it was literally the song I listened to a minute ago.
I feel like as well, because a lot of the songs don't have much variation in them, they feel a lot longer than they are. Like, I found a lot of times I'd be like, this song's getting a bit long, I might just
and then you look at it and it's like, oh, it's been 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
And you're just like, how it feels like I'm used to listening to like 10-minute long progressive house tracks, and you're just like, how am I getting bored?
Yeah, it's like 50-something minutes long, wasn't it, the album?
It was recently short, yeah. There was I don't think there were any tracks or very few tracks that went over 4 minutes. I think they were all around the 3-minute mark.
Second to last song, Too Bad.
That's one of my favourites.
That was my favourite.
Yeah.
That riff, I cannot find a video of anyone playing that riff, but I would love to, right? If anyone wants to do a cover of that song on guitar, man, that riff alone... I'm giving that song an 8. Like, that riff is so good. I love it. Absolutely
just when the song starts, like, it goes bang, and you're like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah, exactly.
This is fucking awesome. Like, that fucking, like, delay thing they have, like, on, like, a certain sound. I think it might be, like, a little vocal, like, snippet or something. That's fucking awesome.
I love that.
It's so good.
I love what you just did more than I loved it on the album.
Thanks, guys. You guys are home as well. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll do some more of that shit.
Whoa, now.
Yeah, I said it. I really wanted to say it. I really wanted to say it, like, all along.
Okay.
But I've always wanted to say it in a joking fashion. I've never wanted to say it seriously.
Like very Ross.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then, last song, Impossible Winner.
Okay. I really fucking liked it. I thought it was one of the best songs on the album.
It was so good, and it was one of those points where I'd got to that point in the album, and just like $3 Hat, but even more by this point, I was like going through the drudgeon. I think this album definitely, I think you're right, like it kind of started off better than it went on, like because I didn't dislike Buzzkill that much, So I was like, first song's quite good, then all right for a bit, and then it starts going $3 Hat. I'm like, oh, interesting. Then it starts getting a bit more samey a lot of the time, and then the last song hit, and I was just like,
it's
whoa,
so different. It's like
so different.
And you know what?
So
Alison
good.
Moshart's vocals really
She sang
work on
well
that track. It sounds
She
so
sang
good.
well on that track. I was like, this is what she should be singing to. This is great.
I have to say though, I had no idea what to think of it. Because at no point was there the dead weather in that
yeah,
song.
it definitely was
think
very dead weather.
It was a
loved
better written song than like most of the ones in the album.
It kind of felt like it could be a Bond theme.
Exactly, but that's
yeah.
what Jack White's
very
the
Jack
Bond theme
White-y.
guy.
Yeah, but in that song, he had him playing drums, and he had him playing the distorted electric guitar. And in this song, it's like all orchestral.
There's a string section
It's so
and a
good.
piano, and it sounds fantastic.
It sounds excellent.
The album, I'm gonna give it a strong 5.
I'm gonna give it a strong 6.
I'm going to give it a weak 6.
I'm not gonna lie, I only said strong because he said strong. I'm gonna give it a 6. But
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6. I felt as though it is a very average Dead Weather, but the Dead Weather, when they do average, they do it better than a lot of other people.
yeah, that's fair.
But seriously, Too
Like,
Bad.
Particularly
Please
Impossible
listen to
Winner
that
and
riff.
$3 Hat.
Yeah, too bad.
Listen to Too Bad, Impossible Winner, and $3 Hat. They're the 3 songs that I would say.
Yep, and maybe if you're feeling like
If you like Dead
go
Weather,
for I
a
Feel
few
Love
more.
every million miles. Maybe just throw that one in.
I Feel Love, maybe Be Still. A couple of others are alright if you like that
Yeah,
sort of sound.
I think if you really like Alison Moshart's vocals, then I Feel Love every million miles would be
Yeah,
like
just-
really for you because
Just
she
skip
goes.
to track 12. Skip to track 12 if you like her vocals.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the Dead Weather, Dodge and Burn, the Sonic Squeeze, forever. I had to do it. Yes.
Oh my god. I'm done. We're not doing a fourth one. We're not.
Okay, little microphone. Are you okay?
Like, because I'm just waiting for us to put it on, and then everyone's gonna be like, Anthony Fantano did it better, or like, you just copied Anthony Fantano,
And then-
or like, I just want to like, I don't want to like pretend that Anthony Fantano like
he's
doesn't
not an
exist.
inspiration.
Like, we fucking love Anthony Fantano.
So, James, I thought you would give this a 7. I thought you'd like it more than you did, just because you like it a lot. Do you know what I said Kit would give? 5 or a 6.
Nice.
I fucking got that one on point.